Hey guys, this is Tony Benson with Wealth Builders HQ and creator of Patterns in a Flash. We're going to take a look and review the couple that we found, patterns that we found last week for the patterns of the week, and see how they played out, if they did at all. Before we get to that, let's get the disclaimer out of the way. I am not a registered broker-dealer investment advisor. I will not give you any recommendations or advice. Everything that we do here is purely for educational purposes. If we do mention a trade, just assume that it is a practice or a paper trade. For regulatory reasons, we do not discuss funded trading here. So with that being said, here are the two that we looked at last week. We had BlackBerry and BKR, Baker Hughes. So let's see on the charts how they look. BlackBerry did not play out. Let's see, that was, I believe, the 4th. Put a vertical line on there. That is the day that we were looking at it, that highlighted it, looking at it possibly breaking out above that 1160 area, and it did not. It failed. And it's dropped off today. It dropped off even more. So nothing on this. No trade on that. Let's see. Baker Hughes, though, did. Let's see. Where's the 4th? Right there. We were looking at a, I don't know what you want to call this. You could call it a head and shoulders, but the neckline's kind of wonky. Double top, triple top, whatever you want to call it. The pattern's there. We've got some resistance there, about 26. It was hitting it. We had a nice little, almost not really a shooting star technically, but definitely a bearish candle that day before the vertical line. Then the day we highlighted it was this day here. We're looking at this thing to drop from that 25 area down to about 20, which is a big move. I mean, that's 20% essentially. So it's done it before, and hopefully this thing will continue and do it again. So we shall see how that one plays out. Let's see what else is on the radar from the previous patterns of the week. CNP is still just kind of sitting there dancing around, not doing much of anything right now. But it is still has a potential entry if it would move lower, but it's hard to tell what it's going to do from here. So we'll see. Colgate actually hit the target today. You see that vertical line? This is when we highlighted the pattern of the week. For those that are subscribers to Patterns in a Flash, you get it on that day, the day it was highlighted. It pulled back the next couple days, and then it took off to the upside, and in 5-6 days, it hit the target. So that was obviously a good one. We'll see what happens tomorrow and the next day. It could keep going. And this is where trading in pieces comes in handy, where you scale out, take out. I realistically, on that hangman pattern this day right here, would have probably pulled some of my position out at that point. When it dropped off there, I probably would have been out right here somewhere with just a small profit on part of it, and then leave the rest of it there to see what happens. And then today it would have hit the target. I'd probably peel more of it back and maybe leave a little bit there to see if it takes off to the upside and continues to run. If it's not, I'd put a stop fairly tight. And let it just stop me out if it turns around from here. COOP is still in position. This was, I don't remember where it was highlighted. I want to say it was right around there. It was a day or two before it triggered. We were looking at a double bottom, and it broke to the upside. Not a real fast mover. Obviously you want to see it move fast, preferably, but it hasn't. So I probably would have stopped out at some point here, at least a part of the position, probably a sizable position, considering it's taken forever to get there. But it is what it is. Sometimes you don't know. Actually, there's earnings coming up too. So that is tomorrow, it looks like. So that one would have been probably just a small profit. Nothing exciting. Disney is still on the radar. It has popped back to the upside over the last few days. But still watching it. We'll see what happens with earnings when they come out. Or I don't know if they came out. I think they're coming out tonight. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember exactly. Kraft Heinz. This one actually triggered an entry point the day after. Let's see, it was the 4th we highlighted it. Now, I don't trade every one of them, paper trade, right? I don't trade everything, but I did pull the trigger on this one. I had a contingent out there that said if it hits, get me in. Stopped out the next day. Oh well, so be it. It was $120 or something like that, or $150 loss. It wasn't a big hit. So it's not a real big. You're talking about 60 cents, and I didn't do a real big position on it anyway. So it was just more or less. There's that fear factor that we all have, right? You fear you're going to miss it. So sometimes, if it's not something that I'm really super excited about, but I don't want to miss it, I'll do just a small position or a medium-sized position, 5 or 10 contracts instead of 10 or 20 or 30. So you just do a small position. So if it does take off, hey, you don't get upset because you missed it. You still got something. Maybe you didn't make as much as you wanted to. But in this case, I stopped out. It didn't cost me that much. It wasn't that big of a deal. Morgan Stanley is still, we got that triple top type of thing going, and we're coming down to that midpoint area there, about 97.5, 96, somewhere in there. So we shall see. In fact, I would move this down just a little bit to those 3 bottoms, and use that level as a breaking point. If it breaks below there, then there's some more downside with obviously a point right here. They have to watch pretty close. So Petrobras, I'm not too excited about. I'm about to take this off. I almost pulled it off the list this week because I'd be looking for an upside move on this. A break it to the downside I wouldn't be too excited about. Unless, I mean, obviously the action could change and that could change my mind, but we'll see on that. Starbucks is another one that almost came off the list. Head and Shoulders, it broke, but then earnings, of course, made it move the amount we were looking for, but it was earnings. You know, it's just a total crapshoot if you're gonna trade over earnings. So, and then of course it rallied all the way back, regained it, and now it's just kind of sitting there. So, not terribly excited about this anymore. So we'll see. Starbucks will probably be off the list next week. So that is a recap of what we've been watching, keeping an eye on, the patterns of the week from last week, and then also what we've been keeping on the radar. So let me get back to that right there, and y'all know, right? If you're going to fail at one thing, fail at quitting. Bye-bye for now. God bless.
Folks, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the training. Now, if you did, be sure to give us a thumbs up and go ahead and hit the subscribe button right over here and hit the bell to keep up with all the latest trading content. And oh, did you know that we have a podcast? Supercharge your trading education with the Stock Market Millionaire, which you can find in the description down below. And while you're there, you can also find other amazing free trading resources that I put together just for you.